Hey everyone, it's Dwayne here. Welcome to another episode of Snapshots from the Summit. 5 minutes of amazing goodness that enable you to unlock the money vault, flip the bird at the 9 to 5, and slash decades from building a wealth, my friends. Slashing decades from building wealth. What does that mean? Now, there's a lot, 99% of the population are attempting, and let's just say attempting with those air quotes, attempting to build wealth or create wealth or slash decades from building wealth by abdicating responsibility. What do I mean by abdicating responsibility? Ever heard of a 401k? Ever heard of a mutual fund? Ever heard of an EFT? Ever heard of a financial advisor, maybe, right? Ever heard of those? Or an index fund? You name it, mutual funds, index funds, 401ks, superannuation funds, etc., right? What I mean by abdication, what I mean is that you earn money, hard-earned money. I mean, you could be working 40, 50, 60 hours a week, and then guess what? You give it to some schlep who then invests it on your behalf, or looks to turn it into magical money, right? Looks to turn your $500 into $1 million or whatever, right? So that's your thought of it, right? It's too much hassle, it's too complex to learn how to invest. So I'm going to give my hard-earned cash that I work 40, 50, 60 hours a week, maybe more, to this person over here, and he is going to magically create wealth for me, and I'll be able to retire next year, 12 months time, 2 years time, right? I've got some bad news for you, and it's very bad, right? It's very bad for those of you who are super excited to abdicate your responsibility and hand your money over to some person that is going to invest on your behalf, right? So Warren Buffett had a classic quote. He said, Wall Street is the only place where people who drive Rolls Royces give their money, their hard-earned cash, to people who ride the subway, right? People in Rolls Royces, hard-earned cash, the wealthy, give their money to people who ride to work on the subway, right? Anyway, so there was a study. What does this all have to mean, and you're probably asking yourself, what's this got to do with me, right? I'm quite happy to abdicate. Well, absolutely, abdicate all you like, right? Because according to the S&P Dow Jones, right? So Standard & Poor's, the Dow Jones is stock market index. According to the S&P, the Standard & Poor's, they did a study of the top equity fund managers. Well, they actually did a study of all the equity fund managers, but here was the deal, right? Here was the statistics that came out of this study done by Standard & Poor's. They found, to their horror, well, it should actually be to your horror, right? If you're looking to abdicate, that 5.88% of all large fund managers beat the market over 3 years, right? So let's just say that the Standard & Poor, or the stock market returned, let's say 5% annually, right? So what that means is that out of 100 fund managers, only 5 of them managed to beat the market for 3 years consecutively, okay? Which is not a lot, really, is it? That's pretty standard. That's what we call the Pareto principle, right? 95-5, so that's right on the money, right? But here's where it gets really bad. The same study found that those 5.88% of managers that beat the market after 3 years, what happened after 4 years, right? What happened after 4 years was this. They found that out of that 100 managers, which is we're just using as an example, they found that none, zero, nil, nada, not one, zero, managed to actually beat the market for 4 consecutive years in a row. Can you see why abdicating your responsibility to look after your own creation of wealth is not a good idea when you're handing it over to professionals who cannot beat the market for 4 consecutive years? All right, that's zero, right? Only 5% of them, 5.88 to be exact, managed to beat the market for 3 consecutive years, but after 4 consecutive years, nothing, not one, managed to be ahead of the market, right? So, what does this mean for you? Well, it means the reality is this. If you want to unlock the money vault, if you want to flip the bird at the 9 to 5, and ultimately if you want to slash decades from building wealth, then abdication is not an option. You need to learn to be able to create wealth on your own terms. That's how you do it, right? And if you need some help with that, reach on out. Above or below this episode, you'll find 3 ways. Pick one. Let's have a chat about eliminating your abdication and you becoming fiscally responsible. There's a big word for you. Fiscally responsible for your own and the people that you love's future security. Okay, that's it. That's today's episode of Snapshots from the Summit. I will be back with the next episode of Snapshots from the Summit. Till then, bye for now.